Hello, everyone. I'm glad you could join me today. Hope you're having a good new year. This video is about sacrifice. And there are some things, it may just be one, maybe a few, doors in your life that need to be shut in order for certain doors to open. It's very, very important. And I'm going to share something that I went through real quick. And there was something in my life that I knew the door had to be shut for a while. We're talking years. And, um, but I didn't believe that I could shut the door. And so things were delayed. But God is so good that He put us into a mode. His Spirit led us. His Spirit knows what we need. His Spirit led us here at the ministry to pray in tongues and to loose our tongues just like a wellspring and to just begin praying supplications to God of what we need and what we want. And all of a sudden, it just became, it just happened. It's like the door shut itself. And there's new doors now opening. And so there may be something that you've had that you God wants you to sacrifice and you kind of known it. And sacrifice, I mean put it away forever. I don't mean just don't do it for a couple weeks. I don't know what it is for each person, but for me, I know it's something that I'm so glad that door is shut because God had, and I talked to God about what about the years that I didn't shut it and I didn't know I could shut it and, what was wasted. And He said, God is so good. He said, well, I've got even better plans planned now. So, um, think about in your life what it is. I'm not talking about even like sins. It could be anything, just something that God doesn't want in your life. That you've known it, but since He loves you so much, He still walks with you. He doesn't, you know, beat you down every day because you haven't gotten rid of it. In some cases, He might know that you might not believe you can get rid of it. Sometimes people believe more what they've heard their friends or parents or siblings or the media have said rather than what God is saying. But prayer is a huge answer. I'm so thankful that He led us to pray. So pray, because God can do anything. There is nothing impossible with God, and I guarantee you, there are doors that will open. Now, when we're talking about time frames, don't put any time frames on them. God has already given me the gift of contentment to know that some of the things that He's shown me that are going to happen that are only going to be by miracles. They're not. It's not going to be like in 2 months, okay? But I know it's going to happen, and it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen, even if it's in a decade. Some people in the Bible, their promises didn't come to pass till 20, 30, 40 years later, literally. But they kept going. Hebrews says, we talk about the salvation of the soul. Hebrews says you can't draw back. You have to keep going to the salvation of your soul. Because if you draw back, you're not going to have any pleasure in your soul. And that's what it's really saying. You will have no pleasure in you if you draw back. So once you know what needs to be done, Peter said, once you know the truth and you choose not to do it, it would have been better for you to have not known. So if you know what it is, okay, and you know it, you're praying, and you're truly trying, that's great. But if you draw back and say, I'm just not going to sacrifice that, the pleasure that you could walk with in your soul from God will be taken from you. Now, that doesn't mean that, you know, I think that you're going to have this horrible life, but you're going to miss out on your calling. You're going to miss out on what could have been. You're going to miss out on well done, good, and faithful servant. So, shut the door that needs to be shut. You can do it. Pray. Just start praying. If you don't feel, if you feel like you can't shut it now, start praying that you can do God's will. Nothing is impossible with Him. Pray, 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 pray. Loose that tongue. Just pray. Because I'm telling you, this year is a year of doors opening and closing. And the door that the Lord opens, no man can shut. And if He shuts it, no man can open it. Thank God. So, if you'd like to go to our website, thesonsofgod.net, sign up for our free mailing list. If you'd like to give, there's different ways you can on there. And y'all have a great one.